Okay, this is video number 3 of our series, and I want to read you a testimonial that I got from one of the people that when I worked at the weight loss clinic in Beverly Hills, she shared with me, she wrote up a little description of her success. And I had mentioned in my first video about working with Susie Pruden, and how wonderful it was that she allowed me to do the TAT protocol with clients. They were able to get the weight off, but they couldn't seem to keep it off for one reason or another. And so that's kind of where TAT came in. I had one wonderful client that she had lost like 50 pounds, and she was going out for New Year's Eve once, and she'd forgotten some makeup or highlighter or something for her eyes or lips or something. And she stopped off at the drugstore, and she was picking up some uh, makeup, and somebody gave her a wolf whistle. And that's all it took. She knew she was in trouble. And as soon as she got back home from New Year's Eve, she started packing the weight back on because she had some deep-seated issues that needed to be cleared. So let me give you an example of, let me read you this testimonial from a wonderful success story that I had. It was a warm, wonderful, windy late March day. As I made my way around the house finishing up my Saturday chores, I danced through my work listening to my music and was allowed to play along as long as I kept it low. As part of my routine, I opened my mother's purse and liberated most of the change that I could grab. Mom always had a lot of extra tips on hand and money on hand. What I did not know was that my latest bed buddy, what I did not know was my mom's latest bed buddy had seen me pocket the change. Being the experimental sixth grader that I was, and of course having no means to afford the wild now and freshly colored lipstick and makeup, I had to get part of my monies from someplace else. Besides, Mom would never know, especially the way she got on the weekends. As I moved closer to completing my work, I danced into the kitchen where my mom and her latest lover were getting drunk again. Suddenly, he grabbed me up and turned me upside down and violently shook the change out of my pockets. As he shook me, he yelled, "You little thief, you're a little bitch." It wasn't a difficult task for him to do, for I only weighed 90 pounds. And in any event, you can imagine how shocked and startled and traumatized I was. I was crying. I ran over to my mom for consolation, but she was not to be there and give me any help. In her drunken stupor, she pushed me away and told me to go bare my head. You're just a little slut. Even before I had finished my appointed task, I made up my mind that I was never going to put a child like mine through anything like that. But I was never ever going to even have kids. Having come from such an unstable, crowded, and confusing childhood, I was one of 5 other brothers and sisters living in a small 2-bedroom tenement building on the outskirts of Compton, California. Life was hard, and Mom was only a waitress. We barely had enough food some nights. Most of my brothers and sisters had part-time jobs, paper routes, and etc. to help out. I helped out at the local beauty parlor. Being crowded into a 2-bedroom tenement, never having enough to eat, or afraid there was never going to be plenty, weren't enough. I had so many uncles, you could doubt why I vowed to do what I did. Having made up my mind to be childless, it was easy for me to put the weight on, eating and eating and eating everything in sight. All my extra money went towards my goal to become the most unappealing woman that I could become. Not only was I able to achieve that objective and not be wanted by anyone, but I also was able to hold off from experiencing a menstrual cycle until I was 18 years old. If that's not a mindset, I don't know what is. I put on over 150 pounds over the next several years. Looking back now, I see what a powerful force or entity it was working in my mind. Last year, I had decided to go to a weight loss program using hypnosis. Wise nutrient information and personal coaching program. I was excited about trying this hypnosis because I had so many friends that had been successful at losing weight by relaxing and letting their creative minds work out the solutions to their endeavor. It seemed that the hypnosis was just the edge that I needed to stay with the program and become healthy and fit. For a long time, I was able to get the weight off and keep it off. I learned a lot about myself and what makes me behave the way I do. As I got down over 60 pounds, I just stopped. Nothing. No more weight loss. Nothing happened. What was happening? Had I reached a set point that I wasn't going to be able to get down below? I know now it was the victim in me, kicking in to prevent me from going any further. No matter how hard I tried, I just could not break the barrier. That part of me, the victim, felt that if I broke below that level of weight, I would be traumatized, raped, or even die. By the way, I was raped by one or two of my mother's sleepover uncles when I was 14 years old. No matter how hard I tried to resolve this issue, to getting on with my life, I was unable to do anything about it. I just couldn't lose anymore. I was more than tired of hanging on to all the baggage that it no longer served me, but I could not keep from it serving me. I had worked for years in therapy, looking, feeling, crying, all those childhood issues. It seems that I was doomed to hang on to the past and thus hang on to the weight that went with it. Miracle of miracles came along. TAT, Tapas acupressure technique. With the use of this graceful, laser sharp, and totally healing process, I was able to break through this obstacle with ease and really get on with getting on. The first session dealt with my rape that I had experienced when I was 14. Moving through the experience, I was able to lose a little more weight, but again, it stopped. I started eating back up again. Not wanting to get back to the old me, I was persistent and kept at it. We worked more and more in the area of hypnosis to reinforce the discoveries and repeatedly align all the parts of me. It was not working. I was just cursed with this weight forever. As with all healing process, there's a time and a place for it all to be resolved. And in my case, I was more than ready, willing, and able. I certainly didn't want to lose all that I had gained. Or should I say, I didn't want to gain all that I had lost. We did more TAT and presto. My mind focused on just what needed to be revealed to heal the entire issue around this impasse. It was the issue at 11 when my victim archetype just would not let go. Finally, I was free to lose all the weight I wanted to, and become the most fit, trim, sassy, joyous, happy, and free, healthy being I could ever dreamed of being. What a magnificent story, and such a grand, graceful, and great ending to so many years of struggle. And you know, that's how this works. That's how this protocol works. It's with a combination of nutrients and hypnosis and visualization and clearing up the final bit of it with the TAT protocol. people can get down to their fighting weight, so to speak. So I just wanted to leave that with you. And also, I forgot to mention in the last video that I'm going to figure out how to list my email address so that if you want to do an individual session with me, we can work that out. And in a few weeks, I'm looking at, probably not even a few weeks, to be honest with you. In a few days, I'm probably going to formalize the idea of having a weekly group with the first 15 people, 10 or 15 people that sign up for my group. Anyway, I'm trying to keep it short. Thank you very much.